Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about how to make molar extractions easier, namely a lower first molar or even a second molar. When a patient comes in and they need to have, say, a lower molar taken out and they've got good bone support, I have found it difficult to try to get a tooth, even to get some mobility in order to start breaking up the ligaments enough to allow the tooth to come out. And for the longest time I would just go in and section the tooth. But I've actually added another component to the extraction sequence that makes it even easier to take out. As you can imagine, if you apply any kind of elevator, if you apply pressure, say, to the mesial part of the tooth, it's the distal part that's going to be touching the tooth next to it that you run into resistance, thereby not allowing the tooth to at least expand or push backwards much at all. Same thing if you come in from the back, you have the same problem coming up towards the front. I also think that when you apply pressure, you get some resistance from the actual root, opposite from the corner in which you're actually applying the pressure. So what I've started to do is just take a regular diamond burr and open up the mesial and the distal in order to get freedom of space. So if you do start to apply pressure both to the mesial and to the mesial and to the distal, you're going to get some movement starting to apply in that direction. You can move buccal lingual all you want, but of course those plates are pretty heavy and not going to allow too much movement. But if you can move mesial distally, you'll find that you get much more movement that way. So you take the splitting of those or removing of those interproximal contacts. Then I work on actually splitting the tooth right down the middle. And so I start off with a diamond burr again to get down quickly to a depth without getting all the way through the furcation. And then I switch over to a surgical handpiece and then split the tooth into two different segments. After that, now basically what we're working with are two premolars instead of one large molar. And you can find that the tooth comes out much easier. And here's a case in point. This gentleman was just in today. He had a tooth that was non-restorable. He went ahead and had a temporary filling put in the meantime, when he considered his options of doing root canal buildup crown lengthening or just have the tooth taken out. He came back 2 months later, decided to have the tooth taken out. You can see from this x-ray we removed the mesial and the distal, split the tooth down the middle, and the tooth came right out with his elevators and cotton forceps. It was one of the most easiest extractions, even though he's got quite a bit of bone support. So hopefully if you employ that technique with your extractions, it'll be much easier. Thank you.